Alright, you guys, let's do another video. Now, these glasses may look kind of funny, but and many of you may not know what these glasses are, but these essentially are for blocking out blue light, you guys. And blue light is part of the color spectrum. It is a natural part of, when you go outside and you get sunlight. Sunlight has blue light in it, but unfortunately, so do the LEDs and the computers in the devices that we're using, the smartphones, the smart devices, which are far from smart. That's besides the point, however. Now, blue light from the sun, you guys, when it first comes into the eyeballs in the morning, when you are exposed to blue light throughout the day, it supercharges particular parts and regions of your brain, which give you energy. Blue light from the sun leads to profound states of alertness as well as well-being. Natural blue light funneled in and shuttled into the body through the eyes, and when it bathes the skin. These things are very beneficial when you get blue light from the sun, alongside the entire color spectrum. But for this video, we're going to talk about blue light. Now, before we continue, you'll have to forgive me, you guys. It is like 2 o'clock here in Virginia, and I have slept like crap last night, and I also have kind of a tension headache, and I'm going to talk about that and how I go about treating headaches towards the end of the video. So if you're interested, please stay tuned for that. So we've discussed how blue light, ladies and gentlemen, from the sun, it's bound with the entire color spectrum, so to speak. It's natural. It charges the brain, charges the pineal gland, the hypothalamus, everything. It also, let's just keep this video simple. Now, when the sun goes down, you guys, and we turn our devices on, we're exposed to blue light. And even though this blue light is coming from these electronics and it's not the same as the sun, it signals the brain and tells it that it's still daytime. And I know this may sound crazy, and I know you may be thinking that, well, the body should know better, this and that. Well, I hate to tell you, but blue light from these devices stimulates parts of the brain and regions of the brain that are stimulated from the saturation of blue light from the sun. Now, it's much more complicated than I'm making it sound. Much more complicated, and to a large extent I'm still learning a lot of this stuff, but I want to share with you the stuff that I've accumulated, the knowledge that I've accumulated so far. And let me tell you, filtering out blue light at nighttime, as well as during the day if you're getting it from these devices, is very beneficial, but that's besides the point. Excuse me, I keep saying that. So the sun goes down, and from a historical standpoint, at least at one point in time, we would, when the sun went down, we would have fires for light, maybe candlelight and things like that, torches. Now, the interesting thing about that, you guys, is that when you're around natural fire, it doesn't trick the brain in the same way that unnatural blue light from our devices do. So, the greatest thing that you can do for your health, or one of them at least when it comes to light, you guys, is to minimize your exposure to blue light during the day or during the night from these devices. And here's the reason why. When you saturate yourself with blue light at nighttime, when the sun goes down, it signals the brain, it tells the brain that it's still daytime. And because of that, it suppresses the formulation and secretion of melatonin, which is essential for a healthy wake and sleep cycle. Again, it's much more complicated than this, but if you're exposing yourself or allowing a ton of LED blue light and all this garbage, alternating current fluorescent lighting, if you're allowing that blue light to come into your eyes, you are shuttling that light into your eyeballs and telling your brain that it's the wrong time of day, and it suppresses and doesn't allow your body to create the proper formulation of melatonin, your hormone system. This blue light also affects your DNA, ladies and gentlemen. It affects your endocrine system. It affects your peace of mind. It affects your well-being. Now, when you suppress the proper formulation and secretion of melatonin, you affect a multitude of different things, ladies and gentlemen. You are essentially telling if you experience extreme suppression of melatonin, you are basically telling your body that you don't know what time of day it is, and you just get completely out of balance, because this is circadian rhythm and melatonin go hand in hand. Now, for those who don't know, in layman's terms, your circadian rhythm is basically like your bio clock. It's something that can be depended upon because it's a cycle, kind of like how the clock goes from 12 to 6 to 12 continually. It's dependable. You can look at it any time of day, and that clock is still working based on the 12-hour system. Now, your body has a 24-hour clock. It's connected to your biology. It's connected to your physiology. This is known as your biorhythm or your circadian rhythm. Now, one of the main constituents responsible for a healthy wake and sleep cycle, a healthy circadian rhythm, is melatonin production. So, and this is not something that you can just supplement. You don't just take melatonin and, oh, I'm better now. It's not how it works. Health, to a large extent, is a cycle. It's something that ebbs, not necessarily ebbs and flows, but it's something that's continual. It's a bandwidth of energy. It's something that you get attuned to and you follow it. But the blue light from these devices, folks, is really, really messing your cycles up. It's very common for people to go to bed past 11 nowadays, and I'm guilty of it too. Again, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me. You stay up past 11 and it's said that you get that cortisol rush. You know, you have certain secretions of different reactionary, certain things within your physiology, let's put it this way, happen if you stay up past 11 that kind of give your body like a surge of cortisol or kind of like an adrenaline rush. We've successfully put our bodies into haywire, ladies and gentlemen, and rest is such an important thing. A ton of people are talking about the importance of adequate sleep, and it's something that I haven't really talked enough about because I've been an insomniac for years, trying to stay up late and kind of, not selfishly, but I've just been on a wisdom hunt since my early 20s, late teens, ever since I had my first experience with higher consciousness. I became just absolutely addicted and I'm thirsty for wisdom. And the greatest time for me to accumulate that wisdom or seek it out was during the night, because during the day, I mean, there's crazy shit going on. Mailmen coming by, phones ringing, friends stopping by unannounced, just obligations, contracts to the matrix. And a contract is something that, you know, you sign your time away to, and time is freedom here in the matrix. And unfortunately, to buy your freedom, freedom has to be bought essentially here in this world. So for the last 10 years of my life, basically, I've just been an insomniac trying to accumulate wisdom so that I can navigate through these insane times, so to speak. I do not want to fall into the trap of humanity, which is the whole ignorance is bliss logic. That is very dangerous, very irresponsible, excuse me. So these glasses, you guys, what they're doing right now, and why I'm wearing them is because, well, number one, this LED ring light that I use is so bright that it's just absolutely intense. It's way too much. But it also produces unhealthy wavelengths of blue light that tell my brain it's the wrong time of day. It's much more complicated than that, and that's not the only detrimental health consequence of being exposed to blue light from devices, especially when the sun goes down, because again, that affects your sleep cycles, your circadian rhythm. But this is actually inhibiting the flow of blue light, and I know this because, number one, I have a particular Bluetooth speaker here, and on the side of it, there's a blue light that blinks on and off. Now, when I have these glasses on, I can't even see that blue light. It's, you know, if I take them off, I can see the blue light. Now, I usually use my webcam to record videos, and you know, I was making one the other day, and this webcam that I use, this Logitech C920, has this blue light that comes on when it's recording, and about halfway through my video, I turned the video off because I couldn't see the blue light, and then I realized that I couldn't see the blue light because my glasses were on. So these $10 blue blocking glasses, so to speak, these are nighttime glasses. They do effectively block out the blue light. Maybe if I remember, I'll record something and show you guys, you know, a shot of what it looks like through these glasses and how they do effectively block blue light out. But Light is something that's really interesting to me, you guys. I've talked about it in a recent video, but going back to like incandescent light bulbs, it is a very intelligent thing to do. They produce a much healthier wavelength of light within the color spectrum. It's not as toxic as this blue light. In these LEDs, you guys, they're being touted as like the greatest thing ever since sliced bread. These are very, very toxic. In fact, the more sensitive you become to energy through taking care of your health, and because if you do take care of your health properly, you will become more sensitive to poisons because you're eliminating them. And then once you get exposed to them, it's like, what the hell? What is going on? I've kicked all this stuff out. Now I'm being inundated with this shit. Excuse my language. But like the LEDs, I can't be around them, or I cannot stand being around excessive amounts of artificial light, even if it is incandescence and things like that. I'd much rather be around fire. I'd much rather be exposed to candlelight or Himalayan salt lamps with an incandescent light bulb. I'm not sure if they're doing the salt lamps nowadays with LEDs, but I would not buy a pink Himalayan salt lamp if it had an LED in it. You want an incandescent bulb. The right Himalayan salt lamps, ladies and gentlemen, are very transformative. Now, a lot of people have these pink Himalayan salt lamps in their houses, and when they turn them on, they don't produce the adequate amounts of negative ions, these negatively charged electrons. But what I've noticed is that the basket style pink Himalayan salt lamps with an incandescent bulb, the heat from the bulb, for one, does something with the salt and its molecular composition, and it causes the just massive amounts of negative ions to spit out of the salt into your living space. And we'll talk more about these in the near future, but I just want to give you guys some suggestions. Incandescent light bulbs, pink Himalayan salt lamps, a fireplace, candles. I'm not sure if you guys can hear this chair squeaking. Let's see if I can tighten it. But again, light is a weapon. Most of the things that are being rolled out right now, you guys, have been weaponized. And I'm not trying to sound pessimistic. I'm not trying to fearmonger in any way, shape, or form. I'm just being honest. Because no matter how many ways to Sunday no matter how many ways to Sunday you try to think that, oh, there's no way that these lights are toxic, and you just bathe in this toxic light that's been proven to be dangerous. Regardless of what you tell yourself, this stuff is still having a negative health consequence on your physiology. So let's be honest. Let's look at things. How would I say it? Excuse me. We need to acknowledge the truth so that we can create a solution. So, these are, I can't remember the exact name of the glasses, you guys, but I'll put a link in my description box. You can find these in my Amazon store. If you do click the link in the description box below and buy products, whether they're from my store or not, if you click the link below and open up the Amazon interface and don't close it, and you buy your items, put them in your cart and check out after you've clicked my store link, I'll get a certain percentage of that. It helps fund my operation. I'm doing my best, especially this year. One of my main New Year's resolutions was to really do my best to produce as much content as I can. And I'm not perfect. I'm small potatoes here on YouTube. It's not like I'm the smartest person ever. I'm just an average person who wants to help people change the world by changing themselves first. Because I know the power of doing the right thing with my health, such as getting on magnesium chloride, topical magnesium, changing my salts, my oils, and my sugars. So many simple things, you guys. You don't have to make it complicated. There's so many simple things you can do, Get yourself a glass jar like this container. This is from pineapple juice. And occasionally I'll drink pineapple juice, very small amounts. I've been on a pretty much sugar-free diet now for a long time now, but I saved this bottle. And even though it's got some residue on it from the sticker, that's all right. And I fill one of these up every day, about 2 or 3 times. This is about how much water I drink. I get asked this quite often, How much water do you drink? So I drink about 2 to 3 of these a day. But I mean, save your jars. If you buy something like this, save the jars. They can come in handy. You can, if you buy glass jars like this, you can save them and put tea in these and keep them in the refrigerator. And then when you get thirsty for something or you have a craving, you have healthy things on hand. That's one of the greatest ways to begin taking more responsibility for your health, is to set up your living space, you guys, so that you have the right things on hand, because it's much easier to crave or cave in and eat something that's unhealthy when you have it laying around the house and you don't have everything prepared properly. Health essentially is the art of proper prior planning, because proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Again, proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. And with all of the inundation of that, with all of the saturation of the toxicity coming from the Wi-Fi systems that have been weaponized, the 5G rollout that's coming, the 2.4 gigahertz electromagnetic field, that did not come out right. I'm absolutely exhausted, but I want to try to make sense of a few more things before I wrap this one up. I have a bunch of notes here, you guys. We're going to do a 5G video coming up pretty soon, where I'm going to do my best with the little I know about it, which is probably more than the average person knows. But, so much could be said about the 5G systems, the cellular networks and whatnot, and the Wi-Fi. I'm going to do a dedicated, lengthy video just breaking this stuff down so people have a clue of what's really going on in this crazy world, because this stuff is going to affect all of us eventually. So the Wi-Fi, the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi is already affecting us. It affects the oxygen uptake of the cell. There's so many health consequences that are coming with these invisible toxins. Forgot where I was going with that, but essentially what I'm getting at is there's a lot of things affecting us from multiple different angles, and because of that, you want to be prepared. You want to be doing things every day. You need to not keep hitting the snooze button. You need to stop thinking that this is just la la land. You need to realize that right now, the reality that you woke up in is kind of a nightmare scenario, and it's on the cusp of either getting much worse or getting better depending on human action. So do you want to be a participant in this crazy battle? A little bit of redness there. Do you want to be a participant in this crazy battle? My God, it's like I take those glasses off for a second, beaming down on me. But would you rather fight or roll over? So, drink more water. Okay. One of the greatest things that you can do is assess your salts, your oils, and your sugars, you guys. Especially if you're just now getting started with taking better care of your health. Get off the white table salt, get on Celtic sea salt preferably, or pink Himalayan salt. I prefer Celtic sea salt. I think it's more balanced. I think it's a healthier salt in the long run, but they're both great. There's a few other salts we'll talk about in the near future, but check your sugars. Get off of the white table sugar. It's had all its minerals stripped out of it. Preferably try to get off sugar completely if you can. I mean, not completely, but processed sugar, you don't want that. And the oils. Get away from the canola oils and the rapeseed oils, and the processed vegetable oils and the corn oil and the peanut oil. You want to use avocado oils in certain instances, or things like grapeseed oil. I like black seed oil, and there's some other oils and fats that we'll talk about in the near future that I'm not going to get into now that are very beneficial. But the SOS program is, you address your salts, your oils, and your sugars, and that can be very beneficial. So I'm just going to wrap this one up, you guys. These blue blockers are $10. How I use them is I wear them about 3 to 5 hours before I go to bed. Took a little bit getting used to at first. I have a big head, and these needed to be stretched out. They're super comfortable though they're just like anything else. You just have to get used to them. But this has made a huge change in my emotional well-being, and I can understand why. I mean, if you're suppressing proper hormone functionability because of the way blue light affects the brain and the production of hormones. If you're blocking and suppressing the proper functionability or production, and secretion of melatonin, it affects it affects your 24-hour bio clock. And if you do that, it's no wonder why your emotions are all out of whack. Your cycles, your biorhythm is out of whack. And if your rhythms are out of whack, it only makes sense that your mind, which is in tandem with these rhythms, these 24-hour rhythms, gets out of whack as well. Oftentimes things are very simple to fix. We just have to have awareness of how to fix them, and we have to have access to the tools. And these things need to be easy, efficient, and economical. And luckily they are. You just have to know where to find them. You have to know where to find the information. So I believe that I can help people achieve greater states of health based on the discoveries I've made, even if it's just me pointing someone in the right direction to drink more water, even if it's me just pointing someone in the right direction to remind them to turn their Wi-Fi off at night so they can get better sleep. I mean, these little victories that we have can kind of compile and make big, huge victories, so to speak. Little actions, you guys, on a collective level can make huge change. So I had mentioned earlier in the video that I wanted to talk about what I do when I have a headache, and I'm going to wait and I'm going to make a video directly related to that. But one thing, you guys, is magnesium and an herb known as meadowsweet, and I'll talk about that in a video coming up, short, like 5-minute concise videos. But I love you guys. Block out the artificial light. The light is such a huge issue, folks. I cannot even begin to express this enough. The consequences of blue light and the unnatural wavelengths of on the light spectrum it's just insane. Blue blockers, essential. You also have the stuff on the computer. There's certain programs that you can install. Again, I'm too tired to keep going. I love you guys. Peace be with you.